Okay, today's agenda. First, we're gonna start off with our own Suze Clausen, and she's gonna discuss Spotlight with Suze, which has been renewed for a second season, so we're excited about that. Then we will share the time-lapse pool project that Bill Kepsick put together. Again, thank you as always, Bill. Lorraine will give us an update on projects around campus. I will discuss the upcoming resident payment portal, the dining pulse survey, politics and conflict resolution, and then open office hours. So without further ado, our own dynamo, Suze Clausen.
Thank you. You see, Shelly and I coordinated our ensembles, of course, to black and white. So it's great to see everybody, and thank you all for your loving support of A Conversation with Edith Head. I'm very touched, very moved. We all are at the Moxie, so thank you so much for that. And this was one of the toughest negotiations I ever had with Shelly and with Michelle, and finally the contract we got, the terms were there. Bill and I both agreed, and we're happy to announce that there will be a second season of Spotlight with Suze. Yay! So we're thrilled. I'm kidding, of course, on the negotiation. I'm kidding. Joke. So there'll be no political conflict resolution at the end of the meeting about that, okay? So what we want to do is let you know the rest of this. June is our last of season 1, and we'll put up the other slide that lists all of the Spotlight stars. You can see we started this July 25 with Jill Drexler. Hopefully everybody listened to that, which was great. And then Bob, what's his name, has nothing fascinating. I had to drag stuff out of him. But Bob Kriegel, our second in August. Of course, September, the wonderful Kathy Deno, a very artistic discussion, which we loved. And then October 25th of 25 with Ursula, Oktoberfest, fascinating. I love it when we walk around and people say, I never knew that about so-and-so. I never knew that. And that's the purpose, really of this. Or when we have potential new residents come and say they listen to the podcast and that made them want to be here even more than the ocean wanted to make them, be here because of the people that lived here. So we're thrilled about being able to be a vehicle to spotlight each of you. And then we had for November, for Veterans Day, Chuck Dorgan. Again, it really took flight, so to speak, and it was wonderful. And then probably the hipest guy we have had an interview, Cliff Colwell, of course, right? Where's my rim shot? Where are your drums? And then Carolyn Shadle. Fascinating. What a fascinating story. What a journey. And then Bill somebody we did in February, I don't know. And so much that we didn't know about Bill came out in that interview. And you should see some of the photos, but I'm not allowed to show those right now. But big evolution and fabulous. And then our March calendar girl, Carol, where's Carol Grotzen? We're already getting people saying, fascinating story. Angela at Human Good said, what a perfect for March and how wonderful to have that for Women's History. And then David Miles, who, again, another extraordinary that both the Davids are, and both are talked about in there. And what did Shelly say? I didn't know he was a chef, right? Which is so great that this information can be distilled in such a positive and wonderful way. And then yet to be, our May will be Sue Yang, which will be, well, we all know Sue, what a life, and originally a Jersey girl. And you don't mess with Jersey girls, right, Sue? And then in June, will you be the judge of it? Work with me, I get big bucks for this material. The great Bill McGrath. So we'll definitely, when Bill's in the studio, be the long and short of it. So that's season 1. You are able to listen, and I hope you see the links. You can go to Human Good. It's there. Oh, we have.
The top of the website.
Yeah, right at top billing. Wow. Thank you, Shelly. We have at the top where it says podcast right over the middle of my head. You'll see there's podcast. Just click on that. Also, if you have Spotify or Apple, we're on that. We're on Bloom. We're on all of the podcasts. So you can do that. I'll always, if you all do any social media, I'll always post it. So you can do, so there's so many ways to be able to listen. It's anywhere from 28.5 minutes to 30 minutes. So it makes for just a great listen there. And I have to say that having the genius of Bill as sound editor and collaborator, and we work extraordinarily well together. We both have the same work ethic and attention to detail, and it makes it, that's what one of the potential new residents who I met in the elevator with David said, well, God, White Sands has a podcast. Most other of these places don't even know how to get onto the computer. So I thought, well, yes, we do have a podcast here. That's it. So, I think it's great that way. That being said, we have 12 slots to fill in 25-26 season 2 of Spotlight. So please just drop me an email that says you would like to participate. It's we can have anybody. Carol, was it painful? Here, say it into the mic.
Pleasure.
So it was fun?
It was so much fun because of the interviewer and the sound guy.
Here's the 100, thank you.
Yeah.
No, so, we really try to do the research and pull out the stories that everybody has inside. So any questions on? Again, just drop a note. We'll happily, we'll schedule it around your schedules and ours. It takes about an hour of your time and then 25 hours of our time to do the edit. But it's really a joy to do, and we're so appreciative. All started in Michelle's office, mentioning I always had a dream of doing a talk show. That was it. That was it. And she said, well, why don't you try it? And here we are. Thank you, Shelly.
Thank you, Suze. I think another perk to the podcast is what a wonderful gift to your family. Part of your legacy. So without further ado, we're going to go to the video, time-lapse pool video. I don't know how you follow that energy with trenches and rain, but that's what you're about to see here. Here we go. So Bill took a month's worth of video and condensed it down to 6 minutes. So thank you again, Bill, for all the work that you do on this.
Needs a soundtrack.
Needs a soundtrack.
No fast one. Orgies. Yeah, all the action's over on the.
Right. All the action is in the trenches. Yes.
Yeah, the pool doesn't seem to be changing much.
Nope, pool's not changing, other than filling up with water, which you'll see here a little bit.
The ocean.
You know, watch the ocean sometimes.
Yeah.
Tides coming in and going out.
The ocean does look unusually blue. Is that enhanced or?
Tides going in and going out.
Yeah.
It's been really cold. Whitecaps. Out of blue last week. Who is that guy? What's he doing? Oh.
Nita came by, she said, "Look, great, great." She said, "You're not very optimistic, are you?"
Oh, look at that.
That's right. That's fine.
Here we go.
If only the work went that fast.
Right, right. I think we all agree. You can see the roofers on the top as well.
The flag. Great. Wow.
The storms just keep coming to you on the first one. See the clouds coming down.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We were.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Ocean's amazing. Rain.
A lot of rain.
Yeah. Rain. The breakers. Palm trees stay up. That sunrise?
How old is the pool?
How old is the pool? Do you know?
Original to 1955.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you added a ramp though.
We added the ramp, back in,
It's probably been 10 years or so, right?
maybe, yeah, at least 10 years that we've had the ramp.
Wow.
Here they're draining the water out of the pool and out of the trench.
Mhm.
How often does the camera shoot a picture?
Once every 10 seconds.
Be 1 year ago.
Did you all hear that question? That was a good question. How often does the camera take a picture? And Bill said it's once every 10 seconds. But you edit.
No, I just, from 9 to 5. I'll make it right.
Okay, thank you so much, Bill. We appreciate it every month. Thank you. All right, up next is Lorraine Duran to discuss all the projects happening on campus.
Thank you, Shelley. Hi, everyone. Hello. Okay, let's see here. So we'll stay on the topic of the pool for a minute here. So just sharing with you some of the things that we've been dealing with at the pool. One, as I talked a little bit last month about, we've had our soil conditions that have impacted some of the work that had to be done. Wet clay soil that we had to heavily amend with concrete in order to create stabilization for the new wall that's up. We also discovered a collapsed drain, and we had to open up an additional 40 feet of concrete on the patio to address that. And then, of course, the rain, as you guys have seen. So the rain, not only do you have, in watching all of this, you see the rain and how it impacts us, but then you have the aftermath of it. And for us, that means having to wait for some of the dry out to happen and making sure that conditions are safe for the workers there at the pool. After it was to a point where they could start to get back into the trenches again, they discovered as they went in, they were still up to their knees in mud. So that's how deep everything was. So they had to get in there with buckets, take out a lot of the sloppy mud. They tried to do it with shovels. It was so soupy, it just fell right off the shovels. So they had to get in there and do it with buckets. And then again, wait for some more dry out before it was safe for them to go back in and continue work. So in the meantime, they did continue working on some of the utility work that needed to be done. They've also been down in our basement where all of the utilities tie into our main infrastructure. Right now, we're currently awaiting our utility inspection that's supposed to happen in the next day or two. And then once that's complete, they're going to start to backfill the utility trenches. We expect the next piece is going to be pouring of the foundation for the equipment room, while they're also at the same time going to be digging out for the jacuzzi. So things are going to start to progress again here very quickly. For those of you that don't know this, I live with the weather app on a daily basis. So I watch the weather for us constantly. I wake up in the morning and I open the weather app and I double check. So as of right now, we have no rain in the forecast until, as far as I can see, which is up to March 19th. So that's really good for us. We still are holding to our projected completion time, which is end of second quarter. So we're going to hold to that. I also brought some pictures I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes. I'm going to keep going on to the other topics. Our assisted living refresh, we've just began working with a new designer this week. They're moving quickly to make some adjustments for us to some of the furniture, add new window coverings, art, and then a small amount of decor. We also added an additional bookcase on the west wall near the patio, and that is scheduled to be painted in the next week. Our memory support refresh project, we are just completing the nurses station. Cabinetry's been installed. We'll be painting that next week, Monday through Wednesday. Again, I brought some pictures for you all to see. And our beachfront remodel plan approval. So we are now in step 4 of what's known as the discretionary project management process. This phase is also known as discipline review, which involves the team not just working with the city, but also with the La Jolla Community Planning Association. And they're going to be presenting our project to the Planning Association in the coming weeks. We are also required to post a notice of application here on the property. So I wanted all of you to know that, because you're going to see 3 signs go up on Friday afternoon. They're about 2 feet by 3 feet, and they'll be up, 2 of them up here on Olivetus. They have to be near the sidewalk where the public can see them. And then there'll be one in front of assisted living. Nurse call system. Right now, everything is complete for that. We're just awaiting approval from HCI, which is Department of Healthcare. And as you've all seen, our roof replacement has been moving along quite quickly. We're 75% complete. Next area is going to be, after the south wing, will be this overhang out here above the barbecue patio. That's going to be followed by installation of our new bird wire on the center wing portion, and that begins on March 26th. Our master plan, McCullough Landscape presented their initial concept to us, their design at our buildings and grounds meeting. We had wonderful feedback from the committee. They've taken all of that feedback and they are incorporating that into their next presentation. So right now we're working to have more of what we would call maybe a real world concept that has some more specifics in it, and then we'll be presenting that to the whole community so everybody can have a look. Our East Campus drain pipe replacement project is going well. We have replaced close to 600 feet of pipe down in the parking garage. Again, I have some pictures to share with all of you. Once we're complete with this phase down in the garage, we're going to move back up to the top of the courtyard and we'll finish doing our coring, the apartments 294 through 298. And we have new trench drains that will be going in there. And then we'll also be replacing the area drains. When all of that's complete, the next piece of it will be to flood the courtyard. And I use the word flood carefully to check all of the drainage and see how it's working of all the work that we've done. So the guys have been doing an excellent job down there. It is a dirty, messy job. Our espresso machine at the bar will be complete the last week of March. Our Ocean View Lounge refresh, we were originally told we could expect our furniture at the end of the first quarter. The recent update I received this week says we're looking more like it's going to be delivered about mid-second quarter. So I'll keep you posted on that. Hopefully that will jump back up again. And then the North Wing exterior project. So we've done a lot of work over there. Again, I also brought some pictures for you. We repaired and waterproofed the walls down to the footings, replaced 4 concrete decks. We replaced existing drainage and we improved the drainage there. We added a concrete drainage swale. When it's finished, it's going to run the length of the whole area. And the last will be the replacement of the landscaping and then the west fencing. I do really want to thank all of you from all of us in buildings and grounds for your patience with the noise, accommodating detours in different areas around construction, moving your cars for us to allow work to happen. We truly appreciate all of your flexibility. And I also want all of you to know if you guys ever have any questions about any of our projects, please call me. You're welcome to call me anytime. Stop by my office. I'm always happy to answer questions. And let me move on to some pictures. So what you see here is our drainage pipe that we had to replace. So this was our collapsed drain. And we ended up, you'll see another picture. Here's what things were looking like with the mud and the sludge. Yeah, not good. Here's some of our utility work. A lot of different components. So here's that drain that had to be replaced. You can see how far we had to take it down the path. East Campus. This is what we took out. Yes, so, and we also discovered that the fall had shifted on a lot of the piping over time, so we didn't have correct fall either. So again, I wanted you guys to see what's there. This we discovered just today in one of the pipes that was being removed. Yes, yes. Thought you guys like to see what they look like at the end of the day. I almost didn't recognize them. They were really dirty. So that is Jimmy and Rogelio from ATR have been doing an amazing job for us. Yes, I mean, they literally had their face covered in dark soot. And then here's the fruits of their labor, some of the finished work. You can see the new piping as it's been replaced. Our new bookcase over in assisted living. And the new nurses station. And then over on the north side of the building, you can see the new decks that we put in, new block walls, all the waterproofing that was done in repair of the side of the building. Here's where they dug it out. You can see how deep they went down. So this protects that north wing a great deal. All the waterproofing that was done and improved drainage. Here is the new swale, and I think this one, there we go. My contractor shot this over the weekend. We just poured this on the weekend. Thought you guys might enjoy seeing that. Much needed improvements for our building. And last but not least, part of my amazing team, not everybody's in this picture, but this is Buildings and Grounds Week, and thank you, thank you. And as we celebrate them, I really appreciate your applause because they work tirelessly every day to create a great living experience for all of you, and they're an amazing team, and I'm so thankful for each of them. And yeah, and we had fun shooting that picture, so, but you know, sometimes trying to get them to smile. So they all want to have this serious look because they said that then we don't look like we're tough. And I'm like, no, stop, smile. But yeah, anyhow. Anybody questions? Anyone? Yes.
Who's on the Building and Grounds Committee?
All residents, Shelly, myself, and our who are the residents?
Yeah.
There is a list that's published in our, Anita, what is that? Yeah, the officers and committees brochure has a list of names. So if you like, I can get you a copy. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Bob.
I was a little worried when you mentioned flooding the zone after our experience with it.
Don't worry, it'll be a managed flood. Well managed, yes. No worries.
But Rain, just a quick question. When you showed the swale,
Yes,
is that going down toward the ocean?
it does. It ties into existing drainage that's already there.
Oh, it does.
It does, yeah.
It looks like it was just going off the edge.
Oh, no, there's more to it.
Okay.
Yes,
Thanks.
yeah, they're working on the last piece of it. Yes, Cheryl.
I just want to say thank you to the guys that do the landscaping, because that always something is blooming. And they make sure that when things are past bloom, they're gone and we get something else and
I
something
know.
else is blooming. Some in the east courtyard, which I look out my window at, something's always blooming and it's a different all times of the year, but there's always something.
Oh,
And
thank you.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and I will pass that on to them. They'll really appreciate that. Yeah, we're very lucky. We have a lot of amazing team members here in all of our departments. All right, yes. Oh, one more question in the back.
Does Buildings and Grounds also work on the beach?
No, not really.
I'm
Normally, we don't.
Okay,
We do check the beach for certain things, but normally we're contained to here.
yeah, there's a seal that has been laying there for several days.
Yes, and we called right away and they picked him up yesterday morning.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
know, he was really stinky.
Yes.
He was huge, I know. We get them from time to time and we call right away when we have them. Yes. All right, I'll give it back over to Shelly. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you, Lorraine. Lorraine always has a lot on her plate. Okay. All right, when we talked last month, I think I shared that the resident portal for payments was going to take effect in June. This week, I learned that they want White Sands to start the process on April 1st. So we are maybe the guinea pigs. There's a lot happening on April 1st here. Dining is transitioning to self-up. We're starting the payment portal, and therapy is transitioning to away from Redwood Terrace here to our in-house therapy company. So that is not an April Fool's joke. All right, so what is the payment portal? It's a secure online platform for residents and families to view their account information, check your balances, payment history, and schedule your payments conveniently. I use a portal for almost everything. I pay my electric bill through a portal. I pay my mortgage through a portal. This is just another option for you. It is not mandated. It's just another option. You're getting this brochure in your mailbox today. Chris was putting them in the mailboxes. Maybe some of you have already seen them. I see some heads nodding. So it just really talks more about the payment portal. It talks about security, auto pay, and you can read that at your leisure. Again, that was sent to your mailbox today. We are going to have a training here in the community by CSC staff and our biller on Monday, March 30th from 9 until 4. I'll send more information on that. I'll send a sign-up sheet, a location. So if you want to practice and get into the portal, they can help you do that. Statement delivery. So as of April statements, you'll be able to see their statements in the portal, but we will also still deliver the paper statements for those of you that receive paper statements. Some of you receive it through email. That will continue as well, but we do eventually want to stop with the emails and have everyone that receives it electronically just getting their statements through the portal. And then payment options. So you can use it with your direct withdrawal, automatic transfer. Again, that information is in your mailbox. This is just supplemental. Okay, access and security. So the portal link will be in Cubigo. So it will be a separate space in Cubigo where you can go in and access your statements that way. It'll be available by email and then materials provided by our billing office. It will be a separate login credential when you log in. So it has an added security factor. It's called two-step authentication. So any questions on the payment portal? Sue?
If we decide to use credit card payments, is there a fee for it?
There will be a fee for that, yes, yes. There currently is as well. Irene?
If we are already on auto pay, do we still have to reset it up?
No, it automatically goes through. It's automatically transitioned. So ACH, there is no upcharge, no fee, but credit cards, there is. Any other questions on the portal? And again, I'll send out more information as I have it. I just learned that this week that they wanted us to go live on April 1st. So again, more information to come, and I'll offer dates and times. Actually, there's only one date, but times for training on the portal. Bill?
Does this also keep track of the dining points?
No, but you should be able to access that in Cubigo. There is a section in Cubigo where you can find your dining points that are your balance.
I was just wondering what the credit card fee is.
I think it's different for every credit card. I believe the highest is 3.5%, but you could ask Chris in billing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Kent.
Yes, we've been here 22 years. I'm a slow learner. May I still write a check and put it in the block by the
Absolutely.
mailbox?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We are honoring all the slow learners. You can have a paper statement in your mailbox and write a check. Okay, anything else on payment portal, or shall I move on? Any questions in the chat?
Nope.
Okay. Dining Pulse Survey. So last month you completed a Dining Pulse Survey. We first started this in 2024. It's a very quick survey, 3 or 4 questions. So we have the results from 2026. I've broken them down by level of living. So you can see the comparison for assisted living. The first slide shows overall satisfaction in 2025 at 37%, and in 2026, 46%. Temperature, again, slight increase from 31 to 42, time 44 to 50, trust 37 to 44. So marginal increases, marginal improvements, that's assisted living. The health center, same thing, some marginal improvements, overall satisfaction 41 to 44, temperature 33 to 39, time 52 to 51, and trust 39 to 40. Independent living, 2025 overall satisfaction was 37%, went up to 40, temperature 20 to 25, 47 for time, 57 for time in 2026, Trust was a 39%, and then trust in 2026 was 35%. Memory support, we went from 50% to 57 in overall satisfaction, temperature 47 to 60%, time 60 to 63, and trust 43 to 49. So not huge improvements. So where does that leave us? Where are we headed with self-op dining? So as of today, we're working on setting up the team members in our employee portal, which is UKG. We're transitioning them to the human good benefits. We're working on moving the beer and wine license from Morrison or CCL to human good. I told the team this is critical. We're not going to miss a day. Do not lapse that payment. Get that license in our name. And they assured me that would happen. Menu transition is in progress with Dave and Ann working on menus, the actual items on the menu and menus themselves. And then we're working on vendor transition. And luckily, this is a big win for us. The POS system, the point of sale system, is staying the same. So we don't have to transfer all of your data from our current POS system to a new POS system. So that's, in my book, a win for us. That's all I have on dining. Any questions for me on dining? Or anything in the portal or the chat? Wendy. Point of sale, so that's where we enter your points and we log who's eaten here, we log your menu, we put all of that into the computer system. It's essentially the computer system that dining uses.
But we don't.
You don't see any of that, that's all back of the house. No, will we ever get to use the fob again? No, that is obsolete at this point. So in the past, residents used to be able to fob in when they entered the dining room. It automatically entered into the computer system. It was a huge time saver for staff and a convenience for residents, but that has gone. Okay, Mark.
Shelly, I think these surveys are inadequate because yes, it's simple, just 4 simple questions, but they don't get to the key question, which is what do you think of the quality of the food here? I think that's needs to be added to the survey.
So there was a comment section. There was a comment section. There were lots and lots of comments.
But that doesn't get reported on these kinds of answers that you're providing. So people can't express simply with a rating whether they're satisfied or not with the quality of the food. And I think that ought to be added.
Sure, good point. Okay, anything else? Cheryl?
I was talking with you at lunch one day when you joined our table, and you were telling us where you're gonna get the seafood in the new, and we got a bakery coming, and
Oh, Santa Monica
people were
Seafood.
really excited to hear about that, so I think you ought to share that.
So we're working with Santa Monica Seafood to get all of our seafood from Santa Monica. The bakery, I don't know if that's been finalized yet, but I know the team was exploring options. But I know for sure Santa Monica Seafood is in the loop.
I'm puzzled. What is it we don't trust?
don't
I
know.
mean, seriously, that's a very odd question.
Yeah,
So I decided to trust you, but I'm in the minority.
sure.
So
And in all
hey,
fairness, we did not have very good participation in this survey. One resident actually said, I feel so strongly about dining. I filled out my survey 15 times. So I said, how do you feel about dining? They said, well, we need change. And I said, okay, you probably skewed my results to the negative, but it's okay. We're still very transparent. So the only one you can't cheat on is the annual survey that White Sands sends out, where it is specific to the resident. We don't know who says what, but there's no way to do 15 surveys in one sitting.
I just want to give a real positive. Our friend Stuart and my colleague have been dining, blown away by the food, especially sushi night.
Nice.
Blown
Right.
away by the food. And he, as all of us have dined everywhere. So bravo and kudos to everyone.
Thank you. You know, the team tries really, really, really hard. I believe we have a good team in place. I know Anna's committed, everyone is committed. Isa bends over backwards for you all. We really, really want to make this the best dining experience that we can. And I'm sorry that hasn't happened. It shows in the results here in this survey and in last year's resident satisfaction survey. So we are committed. We will put resources where they need to be, and just bear with us. Don't expect a whirlwind of changes on April 1st because there is a lot happening behind the scenes. So, and then one more thing is we are adding a food committee, which will start in May. And I know a lot of you have expressed interest. We will send out letters in April and let you know who is on that committee. Irene, did you have a question?
Is this survey being evaluated? Because if we're not happy with the survey, or the question it asks really is not reflecting what you need to know, then maybe somebody need to look at the survey.
Good point. So all of the comments, and we received, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 comments that all went to the dining team. They've evaluated that, they've talked it over as a team, they've implemented where they could. But maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we need to work on the survey itself. This is a human goods survey. It's not specific to White Sands. So I will send that feedback up.
What
Okay.
percentage actually fill it out?
Well, we only had like 50 people fill it out.
Oh,
So it is not a large sampling. But I know Isa was outside of the dining room many, many days asking people to fill it out. It was 50 IL, and then I don't know how many they got in the higher levels, but it wasn't, I'm sorry, 50%, I believe. It wasn't 50 actual surveys. I'm sorry, I think it's 50%. I'll get you that information. I'll put that in my next letter that I send you on Fridays. Okay, my least favorite topic, politics. So I just want to start off by acknowledging that some of you are feeling some discontent in the community. And, you know, it's always my job to help resolve that discontent. I've talked with several residents. I've talked with our CSC, my boss, our legal team, just trying to get us past this rut that we're in. Unfortunately, White Sands is a microcosm of the world. When you see crazy things happening in the world, it's bound to trickle down into a community. And, you know, that's happened here. We have people on both sides of the political spectrum. When I told our legal team, they said, "How lucky are you?" And I kind of reeled back thinking, I don't feel very lucky. And they said, "You have people that can represent both sides. Hopefully they can come to an understanding, they can meet, they can talk through things, they can learn from one another and move forward." And I said, I know that White Sands is full of highly educated, intelligent, successful people. And if anyone can do it, it's this group. So we have an idea in mind, and this is with the help of some residents as well. And that's to bring in the National Conflict Resolution Center and have a dialogue on, it's called Dialogue in Divisive Times. So you don't need to give me an answer now if you would attend this, but I will be sending out messaging on that when I have more information to share. I think it's a good move in a positive direction, but it has to be people that are willing to come and talk through issues and in a safe setting and willing to be heard and hear others. So I'm hoping we have people that represent and are willing to do that. I'm not looking to start a political talk here, but are there comments that you'd like to make? Kayla and TJ.
I just want to start by saying, I think you're right in saying we have a very intelligent group of residents here. The fact that the world outside is complex and bifurcated frequently, particularly in the US, is not surprising. But the last thing I think White Sands needs is to suppress free speech and to suppress dialogue. The idea that somehow everybody's going to sing Kumbaya together is, I think, is a myth. Lots of people don't care about politics at all. Some very strongly believe in one set of beliefs or another. Many people have views in between. But I think the important thing here is to allow dialogue and speech rather than trying to assume that we never have anything that's going to upset anybody else. Because going for the least common denominator is, I think, just an insult to the intelligence of the people around here.
Yeah, I don't think that was my intent. If that was the intent, if that was your
Well,
impression of what I'm
if
trying to
the-
do, I
Well,
apologize.
no, if
but I-
maybe it's not yours, but if there are people here who are trying to prevent speakers from coming in and presenting a point of view, I think it would be a mistake for the administration to say, we don't want any controversial speakers. I'm perfectly happy to have people come in whose beliefs are completely antagonistic to mine. I would like to attend, be able to ask questions, be able to get honest answers, and I hope other people would feel the same about people with whom they disagree.
Sure.
So that's all I'm asking for. But the last thing I want to see is somehow
Yep.
a small group able to say, we didn't like XYZ speaker, and that somehow we now prevent that kind of speaker from coming in again.
Right, understood. Any other questions on this topic? Judy?
Two things. First of all, CSMAD existed for a long time without being recognized by the committee. And other groups can do the same thing. They can exist, express their opinions, and hold meetings. Nobody is stopping them, and it's not your job to soothe everybody's feelings. Now, secondly, the library committee will decide in a few weeks whether or not Phil Weiler is going to speak, and I'm quite sure he is. And Phil wants to talk about balance, and he's going to be using as his textbook by a very conservative author, which has a very different point of view. But knowing Phil and knowing how balanced he is and knowing how much he cares about the community, I think it's going to be an excellent lecture to attend. And if we vote to do it, and how can we not now that I'm saying this? It'll probably be by the end of March because Phil's ready to go, because we do need to have open dialogue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to move on. Open office hours. So I am going to start open office hours, and it is just as it's stated. So every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10:30, I'm blocking off my calendar. I won't schedule anything. You can stop by and see me for any reason. There's no appointment necessary. Again, no topic is offhand. You can come alone, you can come in small groups. It's open to everyone, residents, families, staff, first come, first serve, and my office is located in the sales suite. I try to make the rounds, I try to see everyone every day. But this is just one added step. So if you have a need to see me and you don't want to make an appointment, feel free to stop by on Wednesday between 9 and 10:30. Okay, any other questions from me? I got the date right on this one. 3/5. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No? Yes. Oh, good point. Lorena's wondering how everyone's doing with the parking gate. Good, good. Okay, remember, we're on a timeline for that, where we're removing the clickers on June 1st, so you'll have to use the cameras to get into the garage. We're giving you plenty of notice to practice. Okay, any other questions?
Also, what was nice, when we had a rental car, we just had to call it in, and it worked perfectly, so that.
Perfect.
And Shelley, thank you. For
You're
coming
welcome.
around in the dining room.
You're welcome.
It's
You're
a-
welcome. Thank you. Thank you. All right, have a good day, everyone. Kathy, you want to see me after?